Thank you. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is preparing to meet with NATO and European leaders next week as the White House considers a plan to replace him. Here's what State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert said about it Thursday.
He has a big agenda. That agenda has certainly not changed. He remains the Secretary of State. As long as he is serving at the pleasure of the president, he will continue to do that job.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a vote on the GOP tax reform plan could come very soon.
We're in the stretch. You know, horse racing is kind of a big deal in Kentucky. We're going down the home stretch, headed toward the finish line either late tonight or early tomorrow. What's in this for the American people and for small businesses, obviously, is tax relief, an opportunity to hire more people, to build more of America.
CBS News contributor and congressional reporter for The Washington Post, Ed O'Keefe, is in Washington. So, Ed, this current iteration of the GOP tax plan will add $1 trillion to the national deficit over 10 years, according to the Joint Committee on Taxation. How will the White House and other Republicans defend this?
Well, there's concern tonight about the fact that despite the campaign pledge that this tax plan would pay for itself, it doesn't. And so tonight there was some sort of last-minute wrangling over elements of this regarding whether or not some of these tax decreases would in fact go up at future points if either economic growth hasn't intensified as much as it predicted, or if the cost of all this continues to go up. Those details still being worked out tonight, but as Mitch McConnell said, this thing is barreling towards the finish line. The problem is today a hurdle was thrown up regarding its price tag. So if it's not completed tonight in the Senate, probably will happen tomorrow. The House would be able to take it up next week and allow formal negotiations between the House version of the bill, the Senate version of the bill to continue, and we'd probably get some kind of a finale to all of this by Christmas time.
Well, you have some new reporting in the Post that the president has indicated a government shutdown could be good for him politically. What does he mean by that?
So let's set aside tax reform, because the other big issue here is whether or not the government's going to stay open after the December 8th spending deadline, next Friday. Congress has to come up with a plan to keep the lights on beyond that date. There have been talks underway sort of on the sidelines of the tax debate over the last several weeks. And the president, according to my colleague Josh Dawsey, who's been talking to folks that have been in touch with the president, has basically been mulling whether or not a shutdown would help him, suggesting that they can be good politically for presidents because they can then blame the opposition party. The problem is Republicans have total control of Washington. So why would a shutdown happen if they control the House, Senate, and the White House? This is something he's mused with aides about and folks that he saw at Mar-a-Lago over the Thanksgiving break. Bottom line, though, Republicans and Democrats up here don't want to see a shutdown and are working towards some kind of a solution. We believe tomorrow House Republicans will introduce some kind of a 2-week spending measure that would basically give Congress until December 22nd to see if they can sort it out. If not, the issue would get punted into January after Christmas.
On another topic here, Ed, the Senate Ethics Committee has confirmed it is open to preliminary inquiry into allegations against Senator Al Franken. How unusual is it for the committee to confirm that it's launched a probe into one of its members?
Even the committee itself admitted that it's rare that they publicly confirm that, but they did, putting rest to speculation about when exactly or whether there really would be an investigation. There now is. Franken has said he would consent to it. It's expected to last anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. Some of these investigations have lasted several years, but there's no reason to believe that'll be the case in this instance, simply because technology has made it a lot easier now to review these things. Part of the reason it took so long back in the day was, they didn't have computers and things like that. But he has consented to this. It's expected to play out now into the ensuing months. And look, an ethical cloud will hang over him until he's either exonerated or perhaps forced to resign under pressure if more serious allegations surface. There were more today. CNN reported on some allegations by an Army veteran. That makes it at least 5 women who have accused him of inappropriate behavior. We asked him in the hallways at one point today, after the leader of a Democratic super PAC called for him to resign, what he made of that, and the senator had no comment.
Well, Ed, can you tell us a little bit more about the process behind these ethics committee inquiries? How transparent are they?
They're not very transparent at all, Elaine. In fact, this is one of the most secretive parts of Washington generally, because remember, the legislative branch, Congress, is not beholden to the same transparency laws or employment laws that apply to the executive branch. If all of those laws did, probably none of this would ever happen, frankly. But they are secretive. They are run by nonpartisan professional investigators on the Ethics Committee staff. The committee, of course, overseen by senators in both parties who can call in outside counsel if need be to help with the investigation. But how much it costs, who exactly is conducting it, who they talk to, how long it'll take, all of that remains a mystery.
Great deal of interest in those very questions. Ed O'Keefe in Washington. Ed, thank you.